Hi everyone, welcome back to another anime review. We are reviewing an anime called Dragon Ball Super. Now there are 5 major arcs. I'm going to go into not that much detail of it because everyone knows about Dragon Ball Super. It's a very popular anime. But the first major arc is the Battle of Gods. And I have to say it gets a 5 out of 10 for me. I did not like it just because of the animation and the fact that I knew what I was getting myself into because of the movie. Because I watched the movie before I watched this anime, so that's the main gist of it. So I get a 5 out of 10 for me, just because of the animation. It's still pretty good, but I don't recommend. You rather watch the movie than the anime. So the second one is Resurrection of Frieza, and again, it gets a 6 out of 10. It's slightly better to my opinion, but the problem with Resurrection of Frieza arc, the problem is that I've also seen the movie, so I know what the fuck happens. So yeah, that those two arcs were kind of like sucky. So yeah, um, so that's the main gist of it. I did like how they made Ginyu's get resurrected here and there just for a few episodes, but then he just gets shafted like he always does, because the Ginyu force is pretty much dead at this point, except for Ginyu because he's in a frog. He transforms, but yeah, whatever. But Ginyu was the only main character that came from Dragon Ball Z that's Frieza Force, but whatever. Um, then you got Universe 7 versus Universe 6. I'm giving this one a 6 out of 10 just because of the fact that there are some major problems I have with it. First off, it's 5-on-5 tournament style. You have to throw your opponent out of the ring, or they stop. They stop. Universe 6 has Champa is the god of destruction in Universe 6. He's got he's got a Saiyan with him, which Vegeta turns into his teacher, just so he can turn Super Saiyan. So that's the main gist of that. Then you got a yellow fat bastard who is sort of like made out of rubber, but he can also shift his weight or something. You also have a robot that shoots magma in every place. And then you've got what's it called? What's his face? Frost, who's the double ganger of Frieza in Universe 6. He's not as evil as Frieza, but he's up there at the par. But Frieza's more evil than he is. As for the last fighter, Hit, he gets eliminated by Manaka, which Manaka is the fifth fighter of Universe 7. And Beerus says that he's the strongest fighter in the universe. He's the strongest fighter that he's ever versed against. But the problem is, though, is the fact that he's weak as shit. And Hit realizes that, so he throws himself out of the ring. So, yeah. So, that's the main gist of that problem. So, Frieza. So, Hit gets beaten by Manaka. As for the other 4 fighters, the first fighter gets eliminated by Goku. And the other 3 fighters get eliminated by Vegeta. That's what pisses me off. Like, the other 2 fighters are Majin Buu and Piccolo. Piccolo only fights Frost, and he gets cheated out of it by getting poisoned. But Vegeta wants him to forfeit because he's a fucking dipshit. As for freaking Majin Buu fucking sleeps on the fucking disc because they had a written exam beforehand, and they don't do anything. So it's pretty much everyone versus Goku and Vegeta. That's pretty much about it. And that's the main problem with that arc. That's why I'm giving it 6 out of 10. Because everyone gets beaten by Vegeta or Goku, pretty much, so to speak. Um, as for Manaka gets into a filler arc with a couple episodes where Vegeta turns into a ghost and he has to suck on the pacifier just to make sure he doesn't die. Which I thought that was pretty funny. So that's the main gist of that filler arc. After the filler arc of Manaka delivering a package to um uh, one of his clients, he does not come back into the anime at all for the rest of the anime series, which is kind of interesting to be honest with you. They do reference him here and there when the tournament of power, but that's beside the point. As for the Zamasu arc, I'm giving this one a 6 out of 10 as well. I just want some consistency and the fact that Grand Zeno, the guy who can destroy universes by just lifting up his hand and doing this, he can wipe out. Well, first off, Future Trunks comes back because he wants to beat up Zamasu. Zamasu is taking over his world. He's trying to make all humanity, all mortals extinct because that's all he cares about. Why, you may ask, who is Zamasu? Zamasu is from Universe 10. There are 12 universes, as we must, if you must know. So Universe 10 is involved in this arc. And the main problem with this arc is the fact that Zamasu is a powerhouse. He is immortal, except for the Zamasu that took Goku's body. Because there's technically two Zamasus. The one that's in future Trunks' timeline, and the Zamasu that took Goku's body. So it's like that, you see. It's really interesting and really concept. Although I did like how Vegeta and Goku get their asses kicked twice. And so that's the main gist of it. And Zamasu does win because he kills everyone in that universe except for Mai and frickin' Trunks. Which Mai and Trunks are a couple now, apparently. And it's pretty obvious because Mai Kid Trunks, the Mai in their future, is a small child, which I think is bullshit because back in the original Dragon Ball, she decides to do stuff. She's a tall ass woman. She's like in her mid to late 20s, I believe, or something like that. But yeah, she wants to date Trunks, which is, I don't want to get into that conversation because that's just plain fucking wrong. But then again, she is a kid now, so whatever. So anyway, then we get to the filler arcs between that and the Tournament of Power. They do beat Zamasu. Well, Trunks did, and then Grand Zeno decides to nuke the place, the future Grand Zeno of Trunks' timeline, and then Trunks decides to go back to another timeline so him and Mai can live forever together. So that's the main gist of it. Now there are before the Tournament of Power, there are two major episodes that I want to say of filler episodes. One was Arali. Arali, if you must know, she kicked the shit out of General Blue in the original Dragon Ball before he got killed by Mercenary Tao. Which I watched that anime actually. Which, by the way, if you ever want to watch Dragon Ball Super, make sure you watch Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z first so you get all the references. But Arali kicks the crap out of freaking everyone except for Goku and freaking Beerus. When Beerus comes along, he doesn't take no shit. He wants to kill everyone, and that's the main gist of it. Arali's a gag character, and the only reason why I know she's a gag character because she's from Dr. Slump. I haven't watched the anime yet. I need to. But she's from Dr. Slump, and the only reason why I'm saying she's from Dr. Slump is because of the fact that, how do I say this? Vegeta keeps mentioning it, but I think that filler episode, Vegeta acts so differently, and it's really interesting. And the other filler episode is freaking Champa asks Beerus to have a baseball match because Japan likes their baseball. There's a lot of baseball animes. Ace of Diamonds, Big Wind Up, there are a few others. But they have a baseball episode, and it's mainly homage to Yamcha because he's the only player that knows how to play baseball except for Gohan. Because Gohan, Gohan has a filler episode where he plays baseball when he's an adult, going to school. So that's the main gist of that. Now the main thing about Yamcha's arc. Champa wants to go to Earth to play a game of baseball just so that he can eat all the foods. But there's a problem with that. Champa was trying to get all the Super Dragon Balls to wish that he had the Earth that he had because he wants all the food there. The thing about that is the fact that Beerus, since he won the tournament between Universe 6 and Universe 7 because of Manaka, he wished for their Earth to be restored because Champa's Earth has been destroyed. So he decides to resurrect it from the dead, and it's also flourished with all these people, and it's just like the Earth that they have. So that's the thing about that. So they have all these types of foods on their Earth. The problem is, that's the main reason why Beerus is trying to go there in the first place. I'm like, dude, you already have an Earth that has the same fucking concept. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, seriously. Like, that's the whole problem I have with that dialogue. Like, you can just go to his own Earth. But they do play a game of baseball. Beerus wins. And the only reason why Beerus wins is because Yamcha decides to do his epic death pose when he dies from the Cyberman back in the original Dragon Ball Z, like in like the 16 episodes or less. I don't know which one it is, but yeah, that's the main gist of that. So the Tournament of Power there are 10 fighters. You have Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, Freezer, Krillin, Tenshinhan, Master Roshi, 18 and 17. Those are the 5 fighters. You also have, but the difference between the 10 fighters that I just named, Frieza was not supposed to be the one that they picked. He got traded in, sort of. I mean, he had to be picked again. They didn't pick Frieza first. They picked Majin Buu, but since Majin Buu is asleep during this time because they can't wake him up, they decided to pick Frieza because Frieza has pretty much the same power level, sort of, against Majin Buu, but Majin Buu's pretty much power when it comes to his generation type bullshit. So that's the main gist of that aspect of it. Now, when it comes to the fighters, I did not like how they do Krillin that bad. Tien also gets shafted. They're the first 2 out. Then Master Roshi gets a little bit of shine, although in the manga he decides to fight Jiren and gets his ass kicked. But I like the scenario. As for everyone else, Piccolo gets eliminated really easily. 18 gets eliminated, along with Frieza and Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan. And the only one who wins is 17, which is pretty obvious at this point, since he wasn't in this Boo saga, unlike 18 was in. Because 18 was in the Boo saga, and she's also in the beginning of Super. So I knew 17 was going to win at some point, although they teased him of him blowing himself up when Jiren was about to beat him. But as for the Tournament of Power, I might give it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was the best of the bunch, but it has its issues. But one of my thoughts on Dragon Ball Super, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10 just because of the fact that I like the action-packed stuff. The other thing I have a problem with is that Universe 6 versus Universe 7, I thought the fights were going really quickly. Same goes for the Tournament of Power arc was also going really quickly. And I thought that they could do more stuff like other universes attacking each other, unlike just attacking Universe 7 and 6. Just fighting all the time. Like, that's what pisses me off. Like, Universe 10 gets shafted. Like, Universe 10 and Universe 4 doesn't get really much shine. It's the Universe, I think it was like 2, I think it was. There was this part where they had Magical Girls anime logic, and 17 decides to screw that, and your transformation decides to blow them up. I thought that was fucking funny. So yeah, they do make a reference to the Magical Girls community, apparently, because that's what they do. So I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10. What do you guys thought of Dragon Ball Super? The next Dragon Ball anime that I have to watch is GT. I'm not looking forward to that. But Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super, I have to give Dragon Ball Super between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. I think it's better than Dragon Ball, but it's not better than Dragon Ball Z. I think Dragon Ball Z is its peak, and Dragon Ball Super is slightly down, well, pretty much major down than that. But I think it's a lot better when it comes to its combat and pacing, fast pacing, unlike Dragon Ball, which is slow pacing in my honest opinion, and it's more comedy based. This Dragon Ball Super doesn't really have that many comedy moments. I mean, they do have a lot of comedy moments, but it's not like the comedy in freaking Dragon Ball, which everything's fucking comedy. But I do like, if you want to watch this anime, you gotta make sure you watch Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z because they make a lot of reference to them. My honest opinion, you guys should watch Dragon Ball Super, but you have to watch Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. So, if you want to watch all 3 animes, you have to watch Dragon Ball 153 episodes. You have to watch Dragon Ball Z on 265 episodes, unless you want to watch Dragon Ball Z Kai. And then you can watch Dragon Ball Super that has 131 episodes. So pretty much you're watching pretty much pretty much close to 500 episodes per those 3 animes. Now, of all the animes of Dragon Ball, there's only 3 of them that I haven't watched, and that's the new one that's coming out, Dragon Ball Heroes and Dragon Ball GT. Next up will be Dragon Ball GT. But in my honest opinion, Dragon Ball Super gets a 9 out of 10 just because of the fact that of the action-packed type of stuff, even though I did not like all the arcs per se. But then again, I'm giving a little leverage towards the first 2 arcs just because of the fact that I'm more degrading them because of the animation, because I've seen the fucking movie. That's the only reason why. So I hope you guys have a nice positive day, and always stay positive.